Probably my most favorite tool that I have is an impact driver. I don't know what it is about impact drivers, but I think they're fantastic. I just love to see which one's the most powerful, which features, which one has. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 Ryobi impact drivers. I have the one that I've had forever right here. This is the one I've had for several years. This is the P236. This is a brushed motor, obviously. It's been around the block a few times, but it's been a trusty impact driver for the last several years. I'm going to compare that to the latest and greatest PBLID01. This is brushless. This is their new model. It's not the multiple speed model. There's another model that has 4 different speeds. This one is supposed to be very powerful with over 2,000 inch-pounds of torque. This is the P238VN. This is also a brushless model, but it is not the newest model. It has the magnetic piece though, which I really like. We'll take a look at the features too. So this has 3 speeds, and we'll be using the 3rd speed for most of this. But if you have more delicate work that you have to do, it would be nice to have something like this because you can set it down at that 1st speed where it goes a little bit lower. The old P236 with the battery is 1,600 grams, just over 1,600 grams, or 3 pounds, 9 ounces. The P238VN brushless with the battery is 3 pounds, 10 ounces, about 10 and a half, or 1,658 grams. The PBLID01 1+ HP with battery is 1,486 grams, so the lightest yet, or 3 pounds, 4.4 ounces. In a rough size comparison, it looks like the older brushed model is the longest, the older brushless model is the 2nd longest, and the newest Ryobi 1+ HP is the shortest model front to back. They all have a pretty similar height, except for the 238VN is slightly taller than the other 2 models. The PBLID01 is 2,900 RPMs and 4,000 impacts per minute. The light is down here at the bottom, which is a little worse than the others, I think. I like the light to be around the impact itself, which we'll see from the other ones. But it is compact, it is brushless, so it's really nice in that regard. And I have used it, I know it's powerful, so it's a nice impact driver. The P238VN is 3-speed, which is nice. It has a little switch on the back of it. I would prefer the little touch pads they put on the base, where this one has the magnetic area, although I do like the magnetic area. That's kind of nice. It is brushless, and it has its lights right on the front. It has a little tri-beam LED, which I think is superior to the little light they put at the base. So I like that part of it. The P236 is a larger brushed model. It does have the magnet down here at the base, which I do like, and no other switches or anything like that besides forward and reverse. And it does have the 3 LEDs, but they only come on whenever the trigger is depressed, unlike the other ones that stay on for a while after it's depressed. I have this 4x4 and this 5/4 board put together. We're going to drill some lags into this thing with these impact drivers, but I noticed something on some of the tests that I've done, that some of the larger lags, it takes a while for some of them to catch. And I don't want them catching being part of the reason why one of them finishes, as far as the impact drivers, ahead of a different one. So I'm going to bore these little holes, very thin holes here. They're about 1.25 inches deep, it looks like. I'm just going to drill a lot of them, so each one of them have one of these holes to sit in, and they'll catch earlier on in the process. That way we won't have any issues with that throwing off the results of the test. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to compare how fast these 3 impact drivers can drive in 3 of these thinner lag bolts. So we're going to put them side by side. We'll see which one goes the quickest. Oh my gosh, it's very hot in here. Now we're going to take this big old fat lag screw right here. Each one of these impact drivers is going to try to drive it into this 4x4, and let's see how fast each one of them go. Why do I see so many metal shavings? Oh yeah, shaving on top of that bolt right there with all that power. Big dog. Big dog's been here. So when I was doing these tests, I figured kind of like the first test went with the 3 smaller lag bolts. I thought it would be oldest to slowest, and it was the slowest, and we had our second oldest, and then we had our newest stuff, and it went in that order. But the second test was kind of strange because everything seemed to finish at the same time. So even though we had a brand new HP Wonder Impact driver, it kind of slowed down there at the very end, and the older one caught up, which I thought was really, really strange. Now, this brand new Ryobi 1 Plus HP is like top of the line stuff right here as far as Ryobi goes. It had the 4,000 impacts per minute. It has the 2,900 RPMs. Now, let's compare that with the old one, which essentially tied in that second test with this brand new one. And might add, that was with one of their regular batteries, not the new high-performance batteries. So this one I can barely read. It is 3,400 impacts per minute and 3,200 RPMs. So more RPMs, but less impacts per minute. But it caught up, even though it looked like it was going to lose. That's kind of weird to me. The things I like about this older one is I like the LEDs on the front of it. I think they're really cool. I like the little tri-beam ones. I think that's the best. It is heavier and a little bit bulkier. So that's a big negative. I do like the fact that it has the little magnetic piece right here because I have used that many a time. I was an HVAC installer and technician for a long time, and I would put sheet metal screws on there when I was putting ductwork together, and it was actually pretty handy. The bit that goes right here, I never use that on any impact driver I've ever had. Also, I think all 3 of these are ones where you just slide it in and there's no action. You don't have to pull this out and then stick the bit in. You can just stick the bit in and it locks into place. On this one, you pull it out and it kind of ejects the bit, but I don't think the other 2 do that. I haven't checked that, but it's not as critical as actually being able to stick that bit in one motion without having to pull the little, I don't know what we're going to call this, the collet or whatever you want to call it back to get the bit in there. So this mid-level one right here, this not the newest and greatest, but this older series of brushless, as you can see. It is larger. It does have the little selector switch, but I do prefer the one like my big dog has. This is the P262. This is the big dog, the mid-torque impact wrench, and it has a little selector switch down here at the bottom of it, which I prefer over the little switch on the back, because I feel like the switch on the back is going to go bad for some reason because it takes a lot to move that thing around, and I don't trust it. I'm kind of heavy-handed, and I think I'm going to destroy it. But this one also has, the big dog also has the tri-beam LEDs, which I think are fantastic. I love those. And so both of these have that, which I think is a good thing. And as you see, they stay on for a while once you hit the switch. So really, really nice. And the P238VN here, that middle of the road we have, is got the magnetic deal too. So I don't know. If I had to choose one to use every day, I probably would choose the newer one. And that would essentially be because it's the lightest. It's the most compact. I don't like the light. I prefer the other style of lighting, but there might be something to the construction of this, the reason why they do that, I'm not sure. But even with that downside and the fact that essentially the older one caught up with this on the larger lag bolt, this one's awful quick on the easy-to-do fasteners. Like I've done construction screws with this one and it breezes through it, and I've done the medium-sized lags or thin lags, if you want to call them that, and it really goes right through those as well. So it's really only when you get to those larger lag screws they'll have an issue. And truthfully, I probably wouldn't use these things driving those type of lag screws anyway. I'd probably use the big dog down there to drive those because it has 600 foot-pounds of torque instead of 2,000 inch-pounds of torque. Last but not least, I didn't test every impact driver I have. I have a ton of different brands of impact drivers down there. We'll get to some more of those. But I did get this. When I got that little middle-of-the-road, older brushless model, I also bought this Quiet Strike model, which is sort of like, I don't know if this is the hydraulic-style impact driver, but it's supposed to be quieter. And this one only has 2,200 impacts a minute and 3,200 RPMs. So it'll be interesting to see how it does. I've heard that they're not quite as powerful, but they're quieter. So we'll test that in an upcoming video. Along with, I want to test what the effect is of switching out batteries. I have a 9 amp hour, a 4 amp hour, I have 2 amp hour, all high performance. Then I have regular batteries too, and I'd like to see the difference in performance, especially with those HP tools that are supposed to work better with those batteries. See how much better they are compared to the regular batteries and the larger ones compared to the smaller ones. So stick around for more videos. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed a little talk at the end where I went over what I think about the impact drivers. If you did, put something in the comments. What would you like to see me test? What do you think would beat all three of these impact drivers? I bet you're going to say Milwaukee, and I bet you're right, except for the big dog. But Milwaukee's big dog will probably beat it, so that's still Milwaukee. We'll keep testing though. These things are pretty good. I like these impact drivers, and the new one is pretty good stuff. Nice and compact.